Hi Gemini. So this is what your Akashic Records want to tell you, Gemini, about 2021. This video is relevant anytime you listen to it in 2021. You can come back to this video and you might choose different piles at different time periods. That's totally how this is designed to go. This is for people that are Gemini sun, moon and rising sign. However, it's also just designed for if you are going into a Gemini situation, anything to do with communication, technology, communities, short travels, neighbours, siblings, creativity, writing, expressing yourself in some way. If there's something like that that's coming up for you in 2021, regardless of your signs, one of these piles might have an answer for you, because it's also about the Gemini archetype by itself. And we all have Gemini in our chart somewhere, and we all have Gemini in our life somewhere. So these can be used any which way. Cool, so just before I go any further, there's just a couple of things that I do just want to mention with this Gemini energy is, Gemini, you're going to have a really big thing because you have Saturn and Jupiter in your ninth house. So what this is really going to do is it's really going to be testing you and pushing you to change certain belief systems. And also because you have Pluto in your eighth house, the eighth house of transformation, I really can feel that by the end of 2021, and more accurately by the time the North Node moves out of Gemini, which is, I think it's January 2022 sometime, you'll have a completely different belief system, definitely to do with your reputation, how you put yourself out there in life, your status, your life purpose, what you're here to contribute and be responsible for, your life calling, your career, stuff like that. I really feel like you'll have a completely different belief system in some way or other to do with that. And this will be really positive, because it will help you achieve the success that you have always wanted in life, and help you achieve the success with your life purpose. But this will involve the restructuring of belief systems and a deep transformation in that kind of way. And it's almost like there'll be a slight shift in what your vision was for yourself for the future, because you have Chiron, like the wounded healer, but also in some ways I think like a visionary planet anyway, because it brings messages from different sides, from the outer planets to the inner planets, so it bridges the gap. Chiron is also known as the rainbow bridge planet, and so there's also going to be until this point you've had some information missing, which has allowed you to truly access your potential in this lifetime on planet Earth. By the end of 2021, there's definitely, with the North Node being there, with all of these things happening for you guys, and also having even Mercury in all air signs. All Mercury retrogrades in 2021 are in the air signs. This is really going to impact you, and every single Mercury retrograde either interacts with both Saturn and Jupiter or Saturn and Jupiter. And since this is very much focused in your ninth house, this again is about your belief systems. I can't tell you how much I feel like you guys are going to have changed your belief about yourself and your belief about the world by the end of this year. And it's all, like I say, really going to help you so that you can access success that until this point you haven't achieved in the way that you have always envisioned for yourself. So that's kind of what's going on kind of a deeper level. And my guides also channeled to me that what's really important for you guys with the astrology is the solar eclipse in Gemini in June. And I can't remember the exact date. 1 minute, let me just try and find it. I think it's around about the 10th of June, and that's a solar eclipse at 20 degrees Gemini. That's really important for you guys, as is the total solar eclipse on the 4th of December, which is in Sagittarius. I don't know, again, this is all sort of things to do with your belief systems, how you see the world. There's going to be changes at those points. So if you're watching this video past those points, remember what was going on at that sort of time, because it's relevant to something that's going on for you now. If you haven't yet got to those points, pay attention when those time periods come up, because it's going to have a lot of significance and meaning for you. They are really important. The other thing I just want you to be mindful of is I've got this feeling that sort of towards the end of April, May, June and July are really busy months for you guys. This is when you have Mercury's retrograde in your sign. It's also when there is a solar eclipse in your sign. And I just it's hard to describe to you exactly, but it's just a really strong feeling I have, and my guides have said it's correct, that this is a really busy time period for you. And actually, after July, August, September, you'll just be able to catch up a little bit and integrate everything that's happened. And that's probably more the best time to make, if you have to make some big decisions about things, it might be better to wait until that period after you've had all of those things happen sort of over the spring, summer months, okay? So autumn's really a time for you to be literally quite like the Virgo archetype, decide what is useful and what is not, and make decisions from that point. Gosh, I kind of feel like loads came in for you guys before it even started, so I think that's also got something to do with what's going on with everything. The last thing I want to do is, I did this for every other sign so far. We're just going to start with pulling one card to begin with for what is the overall flavour for Geminis in 2021. Okay, what card? This card. Let's see what it is. Wow, the Emperor. Okay, this makes total sense to me. Because this is very much as well about, it's interesting, even, basically I just know that on the whole all Geminis are getting pushed to go along with their life purpose. And that means people that are in alignment with their life purpose, situations in their life purpose, all of this kind of thing is really, really key, because the Emperor is such, the Emperor lives his life purpose, and because he is successful at his life purpose, he therefore has a lot of responsibility and people look up to him, and it's why he is the Emperor of, like, let's say a city or whatever it might be. And there's something about 2021 that life is trying to get you in alignment with that. I can really feel this is because the North Node is in your sign. So the North Node is absolutely, again, life purpose, it's destiny, it's highest potential. It's pushing you to become the greatest version of yourself. So 2021 will have a lot going on for you and a lot of stimulus, and like I say, definitely around like that May, June, July period, you know, lots and lots will be going on, so just be mindful of that. Also, the other thing, that's it, that's coming in my head, yes, in your Neptune is in your 10th house. Your 10th house would be the house that I think the Emperor would rule if we saw it as like that kind of energy. The 10th house is very much about your reputation, it's how you're viewed by others, it's what you contribute to the world in a meaningful way where people look up to you. It's all of that kind of energy. And now Neptune's in that house over this year. Neptune can be a trickster in a way that it can be, it's not so much a trickster, to be fair, that's Mercury, and you'll get the trickster energy because it's an inherent part of you, but it's more like Neptune can be very, just make sure that you don't get too enthusiastic about some ideas to do with life purpose in your career and that kind of energy, which then takes you on a wild goose chase. It's like being careful of illusions and mirages, because not everything is as it seems to do with things to do with your 10th house, like I say, career, life purpose, that kind of thing. And it's about you starting to become really fine-tuned to do with understanding where deception lies there, but also where true inspiration lies there, because both are available with Neptune, but you have to kind of like feel your way through, and sometimes it is not clear. So absolutely be mindful of that Mercury retrograde time period. Whenever it was that I said it was, I can't remember now. One sec. When was the Mercury retrograde? I don't know. It's round about, I think it's about June-ish time. It's around about June-ish time, I think. Let me just double check. Oh no, it's around about May. It's May the 15th to July the 8th. That's the entire period, including the shadow period. So just be mindful of that time period before making big decisions. But this is absolutely a year for you guys to really level up and then some. And it's really, really about really focusing your efforts on creating the success in life that you've always felt was you, and being responsible for what you've come to on this planet to do, which is very much that life purpose energy, and life will absolutely be supporting with that. Now let's go into the 3 options. So we have 3 options. This is option number 1, this is option number 2, and this is option number 3. So this is option number 1. This is a stone from the Shamanic Meze, so see if you feel into that. And this is the crystal that goes with it. We will go into the crystal in the extended reading, what it channels for you. Okay, so that's pile number 1. This is pile number 2. See if you feel. this is relevant for you. And this is the crystal that goes with it. It's not glass, by the way, even though it looks like it. It's blue obsidian. I love it. Okay, and then this is pile number 3. And this is the crystal that goes with that. So just go with your intuition. You might get called to more than one pile, that's totally fine. As always, take what resonates with you, disregard that doesn't, trust your own intuition more than anything else. And we will go on to pile number 1. Hi guys, so this is everybody that chose pile number 1 as holding the message for what your Akashic Records want to tell you to do with 2021. So we'll put this, the crystal to the side, and we'll channel that in the extended for additional insights. But now let's go straight into here. So what does your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021? Okay, right. Basically hold on to your seats because it's going to be a bumpy ride, because there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be so much stimulus, mental stimulus going on for this pile. It will happen a lot for all Geminis anyway, but I'm really feeling it strongly with this pile. I'm hearing as well that okay, so basically what I'm seeing is a vision of this. I'm seeing a vision of a yoga retreat, okay, and this is metaphorical. I'm seeing a vision of a yoga retreat, and somebody's gone there and they have really enjoyed it, and they're really enjoying it, but at the same point they feel like there's just something missing and they can't quite put the finger on it. It's like a beautiful location, like there's really nice people around there, but there's just something that just leaves them feeling like slightly empty, and they can't quite put their finger on it. And then just when they're sort of taking a bit of time and they're almost getting the answer about why they feel empty, they get a call from somebody to asking if they'll do something for them. Intuitively feel like they should say no to that because they're so close to this breakthrough, and they just need a little bit more time just to kind of consolidate the ideas that were coming through. And then they're in a choice point. Do they allow themselves to get distracted by going and doing this thing for this person, which will then stop them, that will then mean that they sort of break their concentration to do with what they were going to have to do with this mental breakthrough, to do with something that was going to be an aha moment? Or do they have good boundaries, say no to that, and continue receiving the information which is giving them the breakthrough about how they can feel essentially more fulfilled in their life? And I feel like that in some way has got a metaphor for stuff that is going on for this pile. I feel like as well for this pile, there's lots of questions that are going to come up for you this year. Whatever happens in life and in your situations, it's just going to bring up lots of questions for you. And I'm hearing the more that you can just focus on the question and decide on the answer, the quicker that you'll get out of confusion. But I'm also hearing that because of Neptune in your 10th house of career, if it's to do with career and life purpose, you might not be able to get that answer. You might not understand what the answer is because you're on a process of you're changing your whole being to do with who you are, to do with that 10th house, the career, the life purpose, and that kind of thing. And so at the beginning of the year, I'm hearing it's not really until later on in the year that you'll really have a realistic chance of being able to answer proper questions to do with this direction in your life, because you're not yet the person that has the answers, but you will be the person that has the answers by the end of 2021. And for a lot of you, something around November will be really pivotal for that's chosen this pile. So that's what I'm picking up with all of that. I just want to be really clear, and my guides are saying make sure you say this. This is not to say that you won't be making huge progress and some good things can't happen for you in that 10th house of career and life purpose, because they absolutely can. And they absolutely will, because also the North Node is encouraging that, and the North Node is in your sign and it rules that 10th house. It's just that there's almost something mystical occurring to do with you and that house. And because it's mystical, it's not easy to conceptualize in any way in your mind, in actions, in decisions. And so almost the more that you can be okay with not having a fixed idea about things to do with career and life purpose and how it's all going to play out, I'm almost seeing like the further that wave is going to take you and the easier it will be. But it involves that kind of detachment of the mind and kind of like surrendering into being okay with the unknown. And the more you can do that, the more you're really going to get out of 2021, particularly to do with that 10th house, career and life purpose, etc. So let us go into, let's pull some cards. So let's see, what do your Akashic Records want to tell pile number 1? To do with 2021. Let's see. I'm not doing some of the piles, but I feel like we just literally do it like this. I feel like, first of all, as well, everything with you has to be grounded. Ground everything, every decision, the actions you take, the thoughts that you have before you take any action. I'm getting that this is really, really important, particularly May, June, July. Let's just see. Okay. And I'm getting as well that you need to have some solid anchors in your 4th house in astrology. So 4th house is all about home, it's childhood, it's often the mother or the father, depending, but I'm saying the mother with this one. And it's also things like your own psychology and your own happiness. It's really important that you've got some solid anchors to do with that in whatever place that might be. So essentially, it's important that you're feeling at home. Wherever you are, wherever you live, whatever you're doing, it's really important you feel at home. Because the more anchored you feel there, the more you'll be able to explore and go into the unknown, with Neptune being in your 10th house. I'm getting as well, there's a lot of mirroring that's going to occur. So with you and other people, with what's going on in your life and maybe what's going on in a friend's life or something like that. I'm also getting, if you have partnerships or deep friendships, you'll be mirroring each other a lot. So that can be positive, but you also want to make sure that you're not both missing the point sometimes. And then the other thing, oh gosh, it's just come in and it's just gone. Oh no, it's just on the edge. Okay, that will come back in. It's about mirroring. Oh, what was it? Oh, that's it. That the universe is going to be super, super communicative with you this year. Like, so communicative. That's another reason why it's important for you to be grounded and also have like a baseline so that you know what is your energy and what is an energy outside of you. Because then you'll be able to decipher the messages from the universe far easier. But you just need to be mindful because there's going to be so much air energy, and obviously you're a mutable air sign, so you really, I can't tell you how important it is to have something that's grounded. I can hear as well that some of you are thinking, saying, yeah, but I am grounded, and you're probably people that may be a Gemini sun or something like that, but you have either your Venus, Mars or Mercury in Taurus, which you could actually have, and that gives you more of a grounding ability. But just trust me, no matter how grounded you are, you can't get enough grounding this year. And actually, the more that you can become stable in that kind of way and not overthinking, the further you can go this year. Anyway, let's just turn these over. So we have 3 of emotions in reversed. We have Ace of Swords upright. We have Knight of Wands in reversed. We have 5 of Pentacles in reversed. That's great, that's in reversed. We have the Empress upright. That's such a good sign. Instantly, I'm sorry, but 5 of Pentacles and the Empress, you know, there is a really good chance that your money situations are going to be turning around this year. In fact, actually, let me just check something in your chart. What's this one? Justice. Oh, nice. That's a karmic cycle coming to a completion. But actually, my guides are saying with this one, it's more like a new karmic cycle beginning. It's not really about the ending of something else, but it is absolutely about the beginning of something new. And I'm seeing that this is very much, again, to do with your status, to do with your abundance in some kind of way. And I know as well, one of my best friends is Gemini, and I know it's been quite tough with finances for a while. And this is the sort of energy where it's been tough for you for a while, but it's on its way to change, and it's going to change in a really positive way. But again, you need to be like super receptive and non-controlling to this, and you almost need to have quite a surrendering approach to your finances and to life in that way, because the more relaxed you can be, the more that this is going to change. It's almost like you've got to really trust the process. Let me just have a very quick look at this, because I feel like yeah, I knew that something about Uranus was really important to do with this and your money. Now, even though Uranus is in your 12th house, which is very much about this unconscious space, it's linking Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, which is the ruler of your 12th house, is really linked to this Uranus energy. And we know that your Neptune is in that 10th house of outer success. And how you are seen in the outside world. So expect to have some radical breakthroughs unconsciously, subconsciously, which then really change your approach to career, life purposes, and in this instance as well, like it's more like long-term financial stability. I feel like you're going to have some new ideas and some new concepts about how to go about with that as well, and that's really going to be changing stuff up. It's funny, like I'm feeling very much a lot to do with the people that chose in this pile. 2021 is definitely quite a lot to do with money, finances, stability in that area, life purpose, all of these types of things. I do think as well this pile is getting quite clear about distractions in their life, what they find as a distraction, it's like you've got I feel like 2020, because there was a lot of time that you spent, obviously it was lockdown, I think you've got a real new appreciation of who you really want to be like almost socializing with and connecting with and spending time with. I think there's something about 2020 where potentially you have really missed a certain group, certain people, or just the certain vibe of like the diversity, because Gemini really likes a lot of change. It's a playful energy, it's a curious energy, but I do feel like because 2020 obviously naturally for everybody shut a lot of that down, it actually gave you some new ideas about how you want to be socializing, what is important to you, what you do miss, what you do want, and that's really important. Because I'm also getting that the more that you can invest in being more playful with life and enjoying things more, the easier you will find it to let go and get these new ideas of inspiration, which are absolutely going to be coming through to you, definitely to do with, like I say, career, money, life purpose. I want to get some more on this as well, because I want to know what new karmic cycle is starting with this Justice card here. Because as well, if you look at this picture, it looks like she is breaking something. She's kind of like breaking out of her head, creating a whole new, like, I think, mental picture of who she is in the world that she's in and what she wants. And I kind of really see that with you. And it's interesting because I think you are, which is really good. I think if some of you, particularly with Neptune being in that 10th house, and Neptune's been in Pisces for a while, it's like, I think you're getting a new appreciation of where you may have had some wishful thinking to do with career and life purpose. And I think it feels like it's really, really important that you've had these experiences where you invested more in wishful thinking, because I'm hearing that was a really important process that you could go through this full transformation to do with your belief systems, to do with how you manifest yourself in the outside world, and like I say, contribute. So if something like that has happened where you feel like there's been wishful thinking and things haven't come through, don't see that as a downer, because it was almost like part of the greater master plan that you and the universe agreed to, so that you could have such a pivotal breakthrough to do with all of this in 2021, but without having that kind of like almost like, what I'm getting is sort of this vision. It's like you took, this is metaphorical, okay? So it's like you took some psychedelic drugs and it allowed you to see things completely out of proportion and in a completely and utterly new way. That was amazing, because it's so important you have different perspectives, definitely for a Gemini energy. But it's kind of like you also invested in that in a non-grounded way. And that actually caused a couple of complications. Okay, because it's almost like somebody then came out of, once they'd had their trip or whatever with psychedelics, and they came back into this reality of normal, they still kind of like held on to some of what they'd seen in that psychedelic experience and somehow tried to make it fit their reality, and that kind of skewed their reality a bit, and it kind of like took them off piece. Only I'm getting for a lot of you, it didn't, and it was an important part of the creative process, particularly if you are somebody that's really creative in some way or other, because it's giving you a whole new insight which you would never have got exposed to had you not gone down that alleyway, as it were. It's almost like you had like a mini adventure, and although it didn't get you the outcome that you wanted, you don't realise that later on in the future that is really important to creating the outcome that you do want. It's just that you would never have realised it at the time. It's almost like it's given you depth that you wouldn't have had you not gone on that detour. I'm getting that really, really strongly with that Justice card and with the Knight of Wands in reversed, because the Knight of Wands is very much a Sagittarius energy, and Sagittarius is the opposite sign of you. So in many ways, I think you have a similar vibe, I always think, in some ways, Gemini and Sagittarius, but you do have to be mindful that that you don't both get so pulled into the game of life that you lose perspective. However, whenever that does happen to you, you out of all the signs, you and Pisces, to be fair, the three of you, Pisces, Gemini and Sagittarius, tend to do the best out of going off piste in that way, because it's an innate kind of part of your energetic signature anyway, so you can work with it in a positive regardless of what happens. But it's being mindful that that has happened, because then you are way, way more street smart in whatever way this is, or whatever part of your life this has happened in. Also, my guys, want to say that for some of you, this might not be to do with, you might not resonate with this to do with work or money investments or a life purpose or a creative project. It might be to do with a friend or a friendship group or something like that. It's kind of different for all of you. So you just want to have a feel into where that kind of energy kind of makes sense. But now let's just get a couple more cards. So, what does 2021 to tell the Gemini energy? Oh wait, I'm just getting a little message coming through. This is bizarre, but we go into these later. Okay, so we get these random messages that then we go into the extended reading as well. My guys make them really abstract because they say it's a great way to bypass, like, I don't know, the logical linear mind and get into the deeper realms of things. So this, they're saying, Alice in Wonderland said, can you see the beehive? Follow that. So I know that's really cryptic, but we'll look into that later. Right, now let's just see what's going on here. So we have the Chariot, we have Six of Stones, and the Hanged Man. So two major arcana. Okay, so what I'm really getting as well with this is, and it's going very much to do with the past pattern that we talked about, but also your future direction, is you're going to be doing something very, very similar to what you have been doing in the last year and the previous years, But with this new perspective that you've had because of what happened in 2020, there's something about you that's going to become way more collaborative, and it's actually softened you up a lot more to actually call in partnerships and connections which are really going to help you achieve your goal and your life purpose. And also, if you were struggling, I see here for some reason, like, the deeper meaning of this, that if you were struggling to share a part of yourself with the world or with another person or with an industry or whatever it might be, and there's been a bit of a struggle, and then you've gone into sort of like you've had very little movement to do with that area of your life, I actually see movement coming in to do with that, because you're going to be coming out of, I feel like you've been in a chrysalis period to do with whatever this is, and you will be coming out of it. And as soon as you properly come out of it, I feel like instantly there's a partnership available. A partnership or a connection that's really going to be supportive and help you in this direction. But my guides are also saying, but this is very much as well dependent on transformations occurring with Pluto in your 8th house to do with your own perception of sharing yourself with another, sharing yourself with life, kind of being open to be seen vulnerable in many different aspects. And that's kind of like a really important point that's coming through. And now we're getting another message with that one. Okay, so with that as well, I'm getting this message, which is vulnerability is your backdoor key, but can you see the door? So we'll also go into that in more detail. Right, let's just get a couple more cards. I do really feel as well like there's something about wherever you felt like you were pulled into an illusion at some point in the past, there's something about that that's really useful for you in your creative process. I don't know if it means that you understand people in a scenario better, which gives you additional insight, or you're able to use that insight in whatever you do that is creative in some way. Or maybe it's just that you even share it in a way with certain people at the right moment that helps build a connection. I don't know, there's something about it that's really important and it's really powerful. It's almost like you're going to own Neptune instead of Neptune owning you. But in order to do that, you've got to really... you've got to basically do your Gemini energy, which is not be bothered about being right or wrong, just being interested for the discussion of it. So it's that curious energy that's coming in, and that completely like childlike, childish kind of vulnerability, which is kind of, no, it's not vulnerability, it's naivety and open-heartedness, where children, when they're a certain age, they really don't think about, is this right, is this wrong? They just do it because it feels good and they experience stuff, and then even if they get upset, they cry and they don't worry about it, it doesn't scar them in any way. Or if they laugh, don't worry about it, they don't really like make a big deal of it, they're just so in the moment with everything. And there's something about that that is really, really important. Actually, I feel like we're going to use one of these dream cards for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so the first one we have is shouting. Again, that's so interesting. I put that on top of this one, and it both, look how similar kind of the images remind you of. There's like an old part of you that's breaking away and a new part of you that's shooting forward. So in the extended, we'll go into what that old part is breaking away and the new part of you shooting forward. Oh, I love these cards, they're so beautiful. Oh, so nice. So we have patience, love is patient and kind as always. And we have get to know each other, learn to meet another's needs for love. Wow, cool. So we haven't really had anything come up overly about love but right now, but that is, I think that's because this is something you've been waiting for a very long time, some of you here. Not all of you, but some of you, or some of you that are in a relationship have really been waiting a long time for it to go into a new level of commitment in some way. So we'll go into and explore what this is here exactly. They're such beautiful cards. I love them. And then here we have, I benefit with gratitude. And what I'm really getting with that is, this is about some kind of, again, it's really stepping into that Gemini, excited curiosity with life. That's going to take you far. And I do get as well, for some of you Gemini, and totally understandable, 2020, I mean, being nowhere near as being able to be as sociable and having loads of different experiences and having loads of diversity, that is seriously hard for Gemini energy. That is totally hard for Gemini energy. But you know, it seems like, I really feel like things are going to be changing for you in that way. But again, this time period, or that time period of that sort of like seclusion, has been really, really important to give you new ideas and a new perception on yourself and life, and definitely what it is that you're looking for. And I'm hearing these words, what it is that you're wanting to commit to, because I'm feeling that there's quite a few of you Gemini that have been working towards committing to something for a long time, but it hasn't quite been coming through. And maybe there's a part of you that hasn't been able to fully commit on a deeper unconscious level, but I can really feel like a lot of that is changing. And once again, it looks like there's something about vulnerability that is important here. And just with this beehive, I'm feeling like there's something to do with community as well that's super, super important, and working as a team in some way. But we will go into all of that in the extended. We'll look into all of that. We will also channel this crystal, this pyrite, to see what it wants to tell you. And then what we're also going to do is, I'm going to pull an I Ching card. So you'll get an I Ching message. I'll read it out for exactly how this all comes together for you. So I hope that was useful for you. What's also coming into my head instantly is you might want to check out the highest potential of the Sagittarius archetype video on my See It Like a Psychic video, because there's just lots that's going to go off in this 9th house about belief with Saturn and Jupiter there. And I think it would be really useful for you to get these concepts of belief, definitely from this Sagittarius mindset. So maybe have a look at that if you feel called to. Also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there. And my website is abigailgracepsychic.com if you want this extended, other readings, other products, anything like that. Cool. So thank you so much for reading for you, and hopefully I'll see you next. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi Gemini, so this is your reading for 2021 for what your Akashic Records want to tell you, and this is for all of you that chose pile number 2 as holding the answer for this. So we will go into the blue obsidian. We'll channel that when we go into the extended reading, so put that to one side. But for now, we'll just go into your shamanic stone and see what it is wanting to tell us. Oh, also, before I go any further as well, just as I was getting ready for this, my guides were like, Black Moon Lilith is important for this pile. So basically what this means is Black Moon Lilith is basically going to be in your sign from round about the 14th of May till kind of like the end of the year. At some point, I think it's around about maybe September, October, it goes back into Taurus for a little bit or something like that. But the point is, you're going to have this influence within your life almost from, I'd say probably just the beginning of May, basically, almost to the end of the year. And this is really, it's really going to be pushing you to accept all parts of yourself, especially the parts of yourself that you might disown in some way because you don't think that they are acceptable. And the reason why this is happening on a soul level is because the universe wants you to know that all parts of you are amazing and awesome, and it is safe for you and another and the world to see every aspect of you. There's something about that energy coming in. And basically round about the 20th of November, round about that time of period, 20th of November, 22nd of November, Black Moon Lilith will be exactly conjunct the North Node in Gemini. So this really will... I think this will be almost like a test point to see how much of yourself you truly do accept as being awesome. Put another way, you'll see at this point if there's still things that you don't think are acceptable and you kind of want to hide away from. You want to particularly hide away from society or from the industry that you're in or the community that you're in. But the thing is, it's really important that you bring these parts of yourself into the light, because they all have, I'm hearing like their own story. They all have their own journey. They're kind of like, wherever you don't acknowledge them and bring them into the light and recognize these are parts of yourself, there's part of you that then becomes quite fragmented and you don't have all of your energy in one place. And the universe really wants you to have all your energy in one place, particularly by the time that asteroid, planet, whatever you want to call it, or moon part, or whatever, by the time Black Moon Lilith is basically conjunct your North Node, you know, the universe really wants you to have all of your energy and all of your power so that you really can... It's almost like, I don't know, I kind of feel like there's a big transformational point that the universe either wants you to have made by then, wants you to make at that point, or stimulates you to do with something which then brings on the transformation later. Because it will be obviously different for all of you, because you all have like different timelines, and you know, you could be Gemini moon, sun or ascendant or another thing. So however it resonates to you, just pay attention to if any of those before, during and after like pricked up your intuition, it felt like that was relevant to you. But it is, maybe you guys want to just read up a little bit about Black Moon Lilith, because she is a complicated archetype. But just know as well, I'm getting this message too, sorry, now this is coming through the stone, but it's related to what we're saying about Black Moon Lilith, that because North Node is in Gemini, it's really pushing all Gemini energy, or wherever you have Gemini in your chart, to really evolve and become the highest version of yourself in some way. There's something as well about the Aquarius energy that's coming in that means it's really important for you to show all parts of your human self. Like I'm hearing like the good, the bad, the ugly and the beautiful, like all of it. And the imagery and the kind of metaphor that I'm getting is, and this is just a metaphor, okay, but just so you kind of get the idea of what this is, and then you can make it sense in how it does in your life and your world. Like the energy of what the universe is trying to say is that, imagine you are an Instagram model. I don't know, some of you may be, or it's, you know, you have an important presence on social media. And up until this point, you've always made sure that all your pictures are perfect, like you retouch them up so you look the best that you can, the environment that you're in looks the best you can, like, and all of that. Now the universe is like saying, that is great and that's awesome, because it's kind of like creating art and it's doing it in a specific way. But also there's this other part, which is this Black Moon Lilith part, which is where people will also love to see the more raw side of you, so the more kind of real side of you. And it's not that you suddenly have to make sure that you never edit any pictures or anything like that. It's nothing about that, but it's just like, it's like acknowledging both parts of you, acknowledging the part of you that you present to the world and you want to make all perfect, but also acknowledging and bringing into the light the raw part of you, like the real wild, natural part of you in some way, and bringing that together. And it's really about combining both of those parts of you to give you more power and to give you more presence within this kind of sphere, or whatever is your life calling, your life purpose, your career, your passion, your soul's drive, whatever you want to call it. But I'm also hearing as well, when you guys do this, I bring into the light and honouring both parts of you. The raw natural side that's non-edited, non-filtered, you say how you think, this is where you're at, etc., etc., as well as like the polished side of you that you have cultivated and creatively designed to be another expression of another part of you, right? Which is equally awesome. When you bring both of those together, you'll actually also find that, I don't know, there's something about your relationships will become even more intimate and more deeply bonded. And I'm also seeing that more people will be drawn to you because of this raw, authentic, yet also creative and like beautiful aspects of you coming together. It will make you quite unique, basically. And the Aquarius energy, which we're going into for the next 20-year cycle, and we're going into air energy for the next 200-year cycle, Aquarius energy is it loves uniqueness. It loves uniqueness. And it kind of loves like the wild card uniqueness of stuff. So I guess as well, it's about mixing up both different sides of yourself with whatever you do with your job, whatever you do with your relationships, even how you communicate to yourself, or even how you dress yourself. Or I don't know, it's about being really creative, but really honouring this more wild, says it as it is side of you that's raw, that's very... I don't know, that's kind of like very unashamed of any part of itself. And so because it doesn't have shame over these parts of itself, it can be so vulnerable. It's kind of that kind of vibe that's kind of really strongly coming through. And I can really friggin' feel that. I'm getting as well that because obviously the Gemini... Your North Node is in Gemini, okay, so like I say, this direction, this soul's purpose, this soul's path, that kind of energy, your North Star, your ninth chakra, that kind of thing. When you combine both of these parts of yourself, so the more repressed sides that you don't think is acceptable, but you bring those into your life and make them very present in your life, along with those parts of you that you do really like and that you obviously like to accentuate, let's say, it's kind of you become magnetic. You literally become magnetic, and you're going to draw not just other people and situations to you, but I can just kind of see, like, in like the spirit world, like you're somehow going to draw some new spirit guides to you. And I don't know, there'll just be something that's really fascinating about you and sort of mesmerizing because of this quality that you're now embodying. So that's really what I'm feeling with that. That went on for quite a while, but I could just really feel it. So now let's just get some cards. Let's see here. So, what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021? I'm just being shown that we put them all out like this, like a line. I'm really getting there's a very specific message that your Akashic Records want to tell you, and that you have a very direct focus for 2021 as well. When I say you have a very direct focus for 2021, feel into intuitively what that feels like for you now. My guides are saying we do read reversals, so let's see. So we have the Strength card. We have Eight of Wands. Ooh. We have Three of Pentacles in reverse. We have Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say. I'm just really feeling like they just come out in one line, straight on top of each other, in an order like this. One more. I'm also really feeling, when this is coming down, that basically you guys have got a real focus for this year. And I feel like if you just intuitively feel into that for yourself right now, what comes up in your mind as the thing that is your main focus for 2021, because it will be different for all of you, but there's like a really specific focus point that the universe kind of wants you to focus on. And I'm also really getting this vibration of, it's like one step, next step, next step, next step, next step, next step. Like stuff's going to be really sequential is how it will happen. And I'm also really feeling like sometimes the steps will be quicker, sometimes the steps will be slower, but you're always moving forward. So you know, sometimes you have that thing in life where it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and the 1 step back is while you integrate stuff. I kind of feel like the universe is going to be throwing so many things at you that you'll just keep going next step, next step, next step, next step, and you won't really be backtracking in any way. So also just make sure that you don't get too overstimulated, because there really will be so much going on for the Gemini archetype, not just because of the North Node being in your sign, but also Uranus in Aquarius is going to be making a really good aspect to your sign as well. So I just feel like there'll be loads of mental stimulation. And what's really coming in is that Capricorn energy is important for you this year, whoever chose this pile. So you might want to see if you have anything specific going off in your, your natal chart, your solar return chart, or your progress chart to do with the Capricorn vibration. But regardless of that, Capricorn, as say a collective for Gemini energy, is in your 8th house and it's with Pluto. So I do feel like there will still be some undercover investigating that's going on within you internally and within your life. Like you're still sort of seeking a direction which is going to give you like the success or the outcome that you've been looking for a long time. So I can totally see that. Anyway, we'll go into these. We are going to read reversals if they come up. Okay, so first of all we have Knight of Wands in reverse. I love this card. Then we have Muse of Emotions, which I think that is like Page of Emotions. Put it like that. Then we have 9 of Voices, that's 9 of Swords. Then we have 7 of Inspiration. I love this card as well. This is definitely about this focus and determination. Then we have, 10 of Pentacles. Again, for me, that's the Capricorn-y type energy, the way that it's coming out in this spread. And then we have Justice in reverse. So one thing I do want to say with Justice in reverse, you're still going to be going through a transformation on quite a deep psychological level throughout 2021, and I do know that will have also been happening in 2020 and potentially for a lot of you longer than that too, but that process is still going on, so you just need to be kind with yourself in that kind of way. But I do actually see that essentially something that which previously you've put a lot of energy into, you were creating it because it was something that emotionally felt fulfilling to you. It has given you a lot of anxiety in the past and it's given you a lot of overthinking, but you've kept strong and you've stayed in that direction, and it is ultimately going to start bearing fruit for you this year. However, I am also seeing that it's only the beginning stages of what you're going to see with what you bear fruit for whatever this is that I've just sort of energetically described for you. So it'll be different for all of you. Some it might be a relationship thing, a work thing, a career thing, a money thing, a life purpose thing, a creative project thing, a health thing. Different for all of you. But that is absolutely at some point in this year, and it's different for all of you again, but at some point in 2021 you're all going to start to kind of reap some rewards for it in a very physical, tangible, almost kind of like financial status type of way. But just be mindful that there's still a way to go with that as well. So however much comes out during this year, just be open to so much more still occurring in the previous years, because it's really kind of like, I know I'm seeing the image of like a relay race, and so like 2012 to around about 2018 was one part of that relay race to do with whatever this topic is. And then 2018 including 2020 was another part of the relay of this race, and now 2021 is another part of this relay race, and I'm getting that there's one more step after that, and the step after that is a much more longer cycle, because it's a cycle that kicks off from the North Node being in your sign. So that in a way starts it's a whole new sort of like, I think it's almost like an 18-year cycle or something like that, but I'm not totally sure on the number on that. All I know is it's just quite a long cycle, excuse me, that's getting sorted, or that's getting brought into your life as a result of all of this. And the thing is, Gemini, things will get a lot easier. You will get, I'm getting that you will get a lot more flow than what you've had in previous years and previous kind of, and definitely from 2020, there will be so much more movement for you guys. But I do really feel like you need to be mindful about you don't get overloaded by overthinking in any way. Try and make sure that you don't get in your head too much. I do feel like this power will be quite conscious of that. Like you'll know sometimes if you overthink or that kind of thing. And also like a good sleep hygiene. Whenever I see this particular Nine of Swords, Nine of Voices, I always really feel like it's really important you guys get a good sleep routine. Because I feel like so much is going to be coming at you, so much stimulation, that actually your sleep time, dream time, is when you will actually be starting to integrate a lot of that information. Particularly because I really don't feel like you're going to have 2 steps forward, 1 step back, like previous years and stuff like that. It's all just going to be moving forward. And again, I know I said it in the introduction, but particularly for this pile, I am really feeling that kind of like May, June, July period is going to be full of stuff. For some of you, it'll be very physical stuff that's coming in and interacting with you and kind of stimulating you in that way. For others of you, I think it's going to be lots and lots of breakthroughs and awarenesses on an internal level. And then for another group of you, it's the combination of both of those coming together. So I do think having specific downtime is going to be really, really important. And definitely looking at your sleep in that way. Also, Gemini, make sure that you're connecting with new communities. I mean, this is a bit of a theme anyway with 2021 because of it being in Aquarius, and Aquarius is really kind of that sort of vibration where it just likes communities and it likes people to collaborate with. But this is just particularly important for you guys to do with whatever it is that you are trying to bring into your life and manifest. You just need to look at making some more connections. I know some of you will say, I've already made loads and I've diversified loads. And all I know is your Akashic Records are just saying, that's amazing. Just keep going with that. Don't stop with that. Keep going. Because it's kind of like you're building, I'm seeing like a spider's web. And it's almost like every one of these connections that you keep making, or areas of life that you keep expanding, something like that, it's building like additional parts onto your web. And then by the time this year is done, there is something about that just means that at some point it's almost like loads of flies are going to go into that net. Like you're going to attract loads of people and loads of opportunities to you, but they come through first you having created lots and lots of connects yourself. So don't worry if you've made lots and lots of connections but you haven't actually sort of reaped any rewards from it, because with the Ten of Pentacles here, that tells me that is on its way. But I do feel like that'll be something that it's more like when you get to more about November-ish time, that'll be when you start to see that kind of manifestation for a lot of you. Obviously, for some of you it will be sooner, and for some of you it will be later, but just the overall energy of people in this pile, around about November, you're going to have to start to have seen much more of all of that manifesting. I do really feel with this as well, it's kind of calling me. I love this depiction of Seven of Wands. I kind of really feel like there's something that's going to come into your either imagination or your consciousness, or you're going to get a sudden idea about something that's going to oh wait, what's the word? Just give me 1 second. Okay, this is it. something is wanting to come into you from the universe, which is essentially like, if we go to the analogy of life being like a game with different levels, and everybody's working on different levels, and at different levels you have different skill sets, different gifts, and you require different things to get to the next level, right? So if we just take the metaphor of that, what I see that whatever level you're on in life, to do with whatever it is that you're manifesting, the universe really wants to give you almost like, I never played computer games, so I really don't know exactly how they work, but my guides are saying like, it's the universe wants to give you a key, which means that you actually get to not jump a level, but you get to go to the next level quickly, almost like through a backdoor route, through like a secret tunnel, which means that you bypass a whole load of time when you would have had to have spent working on that level in some way, and there's a key coming in. I'm hearing that for some of you, this is a person, so it could be a situation where it could be a situation where you start to collaborate with somebody else to do with whatever is your manifestation, but you're collaborating to do with that manifestation. Wait, let me just give you the exact image that I'm getting. Okay, so imagine this. You're a writer and you're learning how to write, and you're deciding to do all your writing. You've done your own book, it hasn't got published yet. So then you collaborated with somebody to do ghostwriting. Okay, then that means that two of your energies are coming together to create that book. And what's amazing is it's bringing your gifts and your skill set with this other person's gifts and skill sets, and you're combining it. Now, let's say that as a writer, you found it really difficult to get your stuff published for whatever reason, because you have to, it's almost like the universe requires more of you on a deeper psychological and spiritual level to get that book published, because that's just the pathway that you're on, that's the life path that you've chosen. However, this is the cool thing. When you collaborated with this person to do the ghostwriting, they actually have a gift and a totally different skill set to you. So it means that they don't get challenged in the same ways that you are to do with getting published. So because you're working with them, that book that you've ghostwrited gets published, because this person doesn't have any lessons to do with the trials and tribulations of trying to find it published to get published. Okay, so because you combined with them, it's almost like she trumps your difficulty to get published, and therefore the book gets published, and therefore that becomes your way into this new industry or whatever it is that you're doing. And essentially that person was almost like a key, because they have a different criteria for success in their life to you. It meant that by you combining with them, you could almost get in the jet stream of that person's flow, where they had, because they didn't have a difficult criteria on a soul level to do with getting published, they had something else that was going on. And what I'm hearing is really cool. Whatever they have as their criteria, let's say their criteria is being, this would make sense. Their criteria is it's really difficult for them to say the truth, the whole truth, and put themselves really out there. But because you wrote a novel about them and their truth, that allowed them to get their truth out there and express themselves via you. And because that expression went out, you were also like a key for them. And then they got to the next level to do with whatever was to do with intimacy and connection and communication. So what I'm trying to say to you, and it's quite complex, I know, is that there's a key, which could be a person, a situation, or a scenario, where by combining with them and collaborating with them, you basically get a secret passageway to shortcut some challenges that you were going through. That's really, really cool. And then that makes sense that then leads on to this Ten of Pentacles here. Really, really like that. Right, let's just see what else is going on. Let's just get a couple more. Oh, wow. Okay, flipping straight out. Right. Oh, nice, the Sun. I love the Sun in this card. Sun, King of Cups, and King of Swords. Oh, wow, nice. Okay, so some of you need to feel into this intuitively when I say it, because obviously you all are on different spaces. The sun is a super auspicious sign. I always see it in this deck. In other decks, I often see it as becoming consciously aware of something, like enlightened about something. In this deck, it always just feels like an amazing holiday, which for me is like an amazingly good auspicious sign. So what I can really see here is with the King of Cups and the King of Swords, for some of you feel into it, you'll end up having two different suitors in 2021 that are both wanting your affection, and it will be a choice of what to choose in a romantic dynamic. For some of you where it doesn't maybe feel like romance, I feel like there's definitely a choice. There's a choice that revolves you investing more emotionally or you investing more mentally. And I feel you will understand what this choice is when it occurs, or if it has already occurred, because you either go with something that is emotionally fulfilling or something that is mentally fulfilling. And that's kind of like the choice that you need to make and that will come up. Let's just see if there's a way to combine that though, if it's a choice. I do think as well, if this is two different suitors, one, obviously the King of Cups is going to be much more emotionally based. They may have an emotional zodiac sign or something like that. And then one is going to be much more mind-based. So I guess, Gemini, you have to decide what is most important for you. Like, what is it that you look for when you look for in a partner? Which qualities are of most value to you? But first of all, let's just also see if there is also a way that you can have an option where it combines all these together. Because I do think as well, Gemini, you're the twins. You're also this real duality. So you're two different things coming together to make a collaboration. And and it's funny because we talked about that here actually, when, there's a person or an opportunity or something where if you collaborate with it actually helps you bypass difficulties and further challenges, essentially. And that's really collaborative. So let's just see. See what's going on here. Oh wow, so we have the Ace of Emotions over the King of Cups, and we have Page of Inspiration over the King of Swords. So let's just feel into this. Okay, so one thing that's coming out instantly is, and it kind of goes a little bit with this card as well, because there will be so much stimulation and so much going on for you guys in 2021, in some ways, if you can become more aware of how you're feeling and expressing your feelings, and if you can become more aware of intuitive messages and guidance that's a lot more subtle, so it's not something, an inspiration isn't an idea that comes to you because you've thought about something for a while. It's more like you might be doing something completely non-related, and then all of a sudden you just get an idea to do with something that you are not doing. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to inspiration. I think it's making sure that you're open for additional insights and guidance to come in. Because the choices that are going to be presented to you, or the way that you need to go next step, is, it's almost like I can see you needing to navigate with both your emotions and your mind. So if we say that emotions is a feminine energy quality, and let's say thinking is a masculine energy quality, because obviously the female side is the right side of the brain, which is the left side of the body, which is more intuitive, more of that kind of thing, and the masculine energy part of the brain is the left hand side, which is then the right hand side of the body. And I think it really is about you trying to honor both parts of you. And really, whatever this manifestation is, whatever it is you're trying to create in 2021, whatever came up in the beginning of something that you need to, where the universe wants you to focus and where you also want to focus, because it's a joint collaboration with you and the universe. I do really feel like that. This isn't something, you're not going to be encouraged to do something you don't want to do. This is very much being encouraged to do what you do want to do, like a soul calling, a life purpose. It really is about you using both your both parts of your consciousness, so the left brain and the right brain, your emotions and your thinking, and it's about bringing them all together. And really weirdly, I'm seeing like an image of Albert Einstein, and then I think it's like the corpus callosum. It's the thing where basically the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain, it's the bit in the middle where they both come through. Apparently Einstein had a massive one of those, and that was why he was so able to use both his left and his right brain, because he was like highly intuitive but at the same time incredibly logical and linear. And I feel if you can consciously look at engaging both parts of those of you, this is as well when the opportunity with this person or a situation, you know, when this key comes in to help you bypass some difficulties through a collaborative kind of event, this is when this option comes in. Or if this option has already come in, this is when this option becomes more successful and it starts to move forward, when you're basically working, like I say, with both your intuitive feminine energy and your logical masculine energy, and you're bringing both of those two things together. And then this is where it's also coming up again about what we channeled in the beginning about Black Moon Lilith, and we said about how Black Moon Lilith often is the repressed parts of ourselves that we don't accept. I got a feeling that there's some emotions that you guys maybe don't like about yourself, and the first thing that's coming in, by the way, this isn't for all of you, this is just for some of you, and it's just the most obvious example, is some of you might think that anger is not a good thing to express, when actually it has a real valid place in so many situations within life, and also just to your own self. Like, it's a valid emotion in the right context, and it's all just about expressing it in a healthy way. So you might repress certain emotions, and that is blocking part of your creative manifestation of whatever this is. At the same time, I think there's going to be certain thought processes that you also I'm not sure how you might feel about people that are very opinionated, and I'm not really sure how you might feel. I'm not sure if you like to express a super strong opinion. I don't know if that's something where sometimes you feel or sense conflict when somebody's expressing a strong opinion, or if somebody expresses a strong opinion to you. I'm also getting this because I'm kind of seeing in your chart how Sagittarius is opposite you, Gemini, and Sagittarius is highly, as an energy, can be really, really opinionated and sort of very passionately opinionated. And I'm not sure if that's something that you don't totally feel comfortable with, or it's not really something that you overly like, and therefore you try and censor what you say in conversations to make sure that you don't really come across too opinionated. And it's something about bringing that into your reality as well. Like, it's totally okay, particularly for you, Gemini, to be opinionated, because on the whole, a Gemini energy is more curious and wants to ask questions. So if you do get opinionated for any reason, then it's probably a valid reason, because that's not your go-to default setting. And in fact, because Sagittarius is opposite you, that's probably something that you try to make sure that you're very considered of in conversations, that you don't do that. But I'm actually hearing that there is something important about you being opinionated about certain things, particularly to do with a personal, emotional level to do with you. So to be opinionated about things outside of you is still valid, but there's something way more raw and real about when you're being opinionated about something which you feel very, very emotionally very, very emotionally invested in, and it means a lot to you, because that's almost when this more, well, this is a vulnerable expression about how you really feel about something, and you're vocalizing it in a way that shows that you're passionate. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that this is, that the emotion that you're repressing is anger, or look, that the mental process that you're repressing is being opinionated about things. Those were just examples. But in this example, what my guides are saying is interesting. You'll find that whatever you repress emotionally, and whatever you realize you repress on a mental stimulation type of way, potentially in a conversation as well, they will have a link. So the example that they've given me of the anger and the being passionately opinionated, they're both a fire energy. coming together. So that actually states as well that there's potentially a part of your fire energy that you are, a bit like with the Black Moon Lilith, that you are repressing and holding back. But the thing is, for your creative manifestation, whatever this is, if it's a relationship you want, a new job, to do your life purpose, do a creative project, to do up a house, to buy a house, whatever it is, your creative manifestation that you're really wanting to create and bring into life, creation is linked to fire energy. So can you see why this then is really important, that you bring that fire energy out in other areas of your life, which then means that you can access this more in your creative manifestation. So feel into yourself, because it'll be different for all of you. Feel what is the emotion that you're not really comfortable with within yourself, and you probably don't like it in other people as well. And then feel into what it is that you usually, what part of communication you usually hold back on. And it's probably something you also don't like in somebody else when they do it. And then see if the emotion and whatever you hold back on a communicating level has got a link, as in they're linked in a certain type of way. Like we just described with the fire and the creative energy, because then that will give you more insight about what energy you need to put into your creative manifestation. And like I say, that will also be something about when you even understand this and start to play with it and work with it consciously, by bringing these repressed parts of yourself out into reality, then you will probably find that whoever is this key, or wherever this secret passage is, which allows you to bypass difficulties in manifesting what you've wanted, which you've had in the past, will start to make its way through to you. That is very cool. I really, really like that. This as well, this might be something as well, Gemini, that you just need to chat about with a friend or somebody. Just chat about this concept, see, because they might have some ideas. And I often know as well, anybody that's got Gemini strong in their chart, like I have quite, although I'm not a Gemini sun, moon or a rising, I have just another aspects that mean that I have quite a strong Gemini energy in my chart. And for me, sometimes when I talk out loud, I suppose a bit like what I'm doing when I do these cards and things, ideas come out of my mouth and I've never heard of them before until I say them out loud. And then it's almost like my mind's been unconsciously, must have been processing it all. And then it's only when I communicate with somebody that that unconscious thoughts becomes literally conscious, and I hear it for the first time as I speak it. And I do think that a lot of Gemini type of archetypes and people that have a lot of Gemini energy will notice that they have that quality in their life. So it will be really great for you to discuss this with somebody that you do really care about. But I'm also getting a little message coming through. Okay, so I'm just getting this message, secrets from the past, with that little diagram. I know that is like shocking drawing. Can you believe I was into art at school? That was a very long time ago. But anyway, we'll look at that in the extended reading and we'll go into exactly what that is. I think it's got something to do with whatever is going off here. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Now, let's just get a couple more cards. So what does Gemini... Oh, that flipped out straight. That is a beautiful picture. What does Gemini Part 2 need to know about the Akashic Records? Feminine. Oh, interesting. So we're already talking about masculine and feminine energy. That really tells me as well, this is... the more you guys, whatever this creative project is, it's definitely about being able to make yourself more open to receive it. And I do think if a lot of energy has gone into it in the past, which I can really see that it has done, a lot of energy has gone into it in the past, it's somehow about losing some of that intensity from the past to do with this manifestation and relaxing on it that will actually help it come through as well more. Interesting as well, you've got a tree there, and then obviously you've got a tree here. And this one there's no flowers on it, and this one there is flowers on it, and this one there's butterflies. So right at this current moment, whenever you listen to this video, I would imagine you're really deep in that transformation process, and you'll look how close you are to the Ten of Pentacles with it all kind of coming out into physical reality. Right, anyway, let's just get some more. So... see. Getting another message. The twilight zone is harder. Got no idea what that means. Like I've said on other videos, my guides often give these kind of really abstract because then it allows us to really go deep within the Akashic Records and kind of like pull things out that are on the very fringes of the consciousness of this group as a whole. Because it's, I don't know if you've noticed this, it's always so much harder to gain insight and information when it's the furthest away from your consciousness it's currently at. And it's sometimes where you might get it in a dream and you forget it, or somebody might communicate to you this and it's like you don't hear it properly or you forget about it. It's that kind of energy. The cards. Actually, I just want one of these as well. Right, so we have, oh wow, the Chariot. Okay, so we'll go into that. So that's clearly, and that feels like it should be right at the top of the reading. This is where I do feel like there is lots of movement forward. Then we have, oh wow, express love through gifts. That's such a pretty picture. It says, a small token of love can convey great appreciation. The question is, what is this gift? Because I feel like it's a specific vibration of a gift. So we'll go into exactly what that gift is. And I feel like in some ways this goes into the King of Cups and the Ace of Emotions. And it's something about how you guys basically express your love. So express your feelings, but we'll go into that. Then we have here music. So that really reminds me as well, that's something to do with whatever you guys are creating. I think there's additional guidance to do with what that is. And then we have here, I do good. I love these cards. I think they look so cool. So what we will do is we will, into the extended, we'll look into this. What is the secret from the past? Secrets from the past. And this concept about the twilight zone is harder. Then we'll also look into specifically how is it you need to be expressing your love? Like, what's the specific vibration so that you either bring more love into your life, or it's almost like you can receive more love from the universe with what it is you're manifesting. So we'll look into that specifically. I just know that pearl's really important. That pearl's really standing out. So I don't know if pearls means anything to any of you. Then we'll look into what this is with music and I do good, and also this feminine energy one here, as well as we will channel what the blue obsidian crystal wants to tell you. So, I hope you found that reading helpful so far. Like I said, that's really exciting. Whatever is this key or this secret passageway that's going to help you shortcut difficulties of the past. I think that is really cool. But remember to think into whatever is this emotion that you repress and this specific way of communicating that you repress because you don't think it's acceptable, like this whole Black Moon Lilith archetype. But anyway, we will go into all of this into more detail in the extended. I think it could be useful because the Capricorn energy came up in the beginning. You might find it useful to have a look at my See It Like a Psychic YouTube channel and look at the highest potential of the Capricorn archetype. So on my See It Like a Psychic channel, you might want to look at the Capricorn highest potential. That can give you some further insight about building this legacy and all of that kind of thing. You might also, if this was your sun sign, Gemini, you might want to look at your moon and ascendant sign and pick a card, see if you get more advice, because all of this, the more you mix and match them together, the more your guides can get through the messages specific for you. And to be honest, the more you have to access your intuition, because you have to filter out in the reading what's not for you and what is for you, and then combine it with other readings of what is for you and what is not for you, so you kind of really tailor and home tune your own psychic senses, which I think is really powerful. Equally as well, if you're looking at something like a relationship, let's say you're manifesting a relationship, you might want to look at the pick of cards to do with the zodiac signs that are often related to relationships. So we often think 5th house, which is Leo, 7th house, which is Libra, and also 8th house, which is Scorpio. So you might be pulled to one of those readings intuitively, and that might give you more guidance on something. But anyway, you play with this, because you guys are always playful, you love experimenting, and I'll see you soon. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Welcome to your pick a card, pile 3, Gemini, for what your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021. So we'll go into this crystal in the extended reading, but for now we'll just go straight into channeling what your shamanic stone wants to tell you. So let's just see. Okay, so I'm hearing a couple of things. So first of all, there's a big thing that's going on to do with you, to do with connections, how you connect with yourself, how you connect with somebody one-on-one, and how you connect with a group of people. Because what I'm seeing highlighted is your 1st house, your 7th house, and your 11th house, okay? So 1st house, how you see yourself, how you see the outside world. 7th house, how you relate to another person on a one-on-one level. This can be romantic, it can be marriage, it can be business partners, it can just be anybody on a one-on-one level. So it could be a friend on a one-on-one intimate level. And then the 11th house is more how you do in big groups, how you do in communities. All of that I can see is kind of like getting highlighted for you this year. And what's really going to be happening is the way that you see yourself in the world is changing, and that's therefore what's going to be changing how you interact with people on an intimate one-on-one level and how you interact with people on a bigger scale level. I'm also getting that this change has been going on for a little while anyway, because it is to do with this North Node. So it's been going on from sort of, let's say, the middle of 2020, and it will carry on throughout the whole of 2021. And I'm also hearing that just be careful every now and then that you don't trip yourself up with some self-sabotage. And that self-sabotage is different for all of you. And if you just feel into this right now, feel into intuitively what first pops into your head when I say self-sabotage. Whatever that is, because it's different for all of you, that is something that you just need to be mindful of throughout 2021, or whenever you're listening to this reading. That sabotage mechanism is something for you to be conscious and mindful of. But I don't actually even see this as a huge problem. It's not like it's really going to cause any major difficulties throughout 2021. But it is something about helping you refine and sort of straighten out and get all your ducks in a row to do with a specific area of your life. And again, this really feels like a relationship part of your life. Interestingly, pile 2 definitely had more of a pull of kind of career, life purpose, creativity. This pile really has quite a pull for kind of like relating and relationship and that type of energy. And also, I'm really feeling that if some of you have felt quite alone, and I don't just mean because 2021 there was lockdown, but you know, if you're somebody that you actually feel as a soul, you felt quite lonely for whatever reason in life, there's something about that is going to really start to radically change from 2021 onwards, and this is like the beginning stages of all of that kind of changing. But let's just go into your cards and get some more insight about what is going on. Ooh. So, Pile 3, what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021? I'm actually just seeing this as a circle. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we are reading... No, we're not reading reversals, apparently. So we have 8 of Voices, so that is Ace of Swords. We have 5 of Inspiration, which is 5 of Fire. We have the Magician right at the very top. That's powerful. I don't know what that means yet, I just know that that's really powerful. This is about powerful change occurring. This is also about you putting yourself out in the world in a very different way. And for some of you, it's not that you're going to change the actions, but it's just that you're changing the essence of who you are. And because they change the essence of who you are, it means even if you do the same actions, the actions that you take in life have very different effects, let's say. Then we have 8 of Pentacles. We have the Chariot. Pile 2 also had the Chariot. And, oh wow, Pile 2 also had this one, 7 of Inspiration. So actually, if you feel called to, you might find there's some things in pile number 2 as well. But right, let us just go into this first of all. So what do your Akashic Records want to tell you? Okay, so I can kind of instantly, I feel like there's a bit of a conflict, okay? Just to do with these being straight underneath each other. The Magician here just seems like completely open. All of this person's chakras are open and their arms are open, nothing's covering their chest, nothing's protecting them. This person though feels almost like the opposite. It kind of feels like they're protecting all of their chakras. And this person looks like they're engaging with the universe as well as with physical reality. This person definitely doesn't look like they're listening to the universe. I feel like they're blocking that out. And at the same time, I feel like they're just trying to cocoon and protect themselves here. So what I can see with that is there's a part within you where there'll be a bit of a push-pull at certain times, not at all times, but at some times in 2021. And once again, this to me really feels like on a relationship type of level. So whether you're in a relationship and it's about opening up in a new way, or whether you're not in a relationship and it's about, again, opening up in a new way to let somebody in, I can really feel like that is going off. And a little bit like the vibe that was pile 2, and it might have even pile 1, I can't remember, but it's definitely pile 2. This thing about being able to well, for them it was pile 2, it was bring things that are repressed into the light. But for you, it's just a case of don't allow yourself to restrict yourself in any way. Allow yourself to have what it is that you want to have. Allow yourself to create what it is that you want to create. I'm kind of really getting these words with this. This will be a little bit annoying when I say it. I think it will anyway, because I always find it annoying when I get told this. But I just really just feel like all you have to do in 2021 is sort of, I hate this, but I'm going to have to say it because my guides are like, these are the words you have to say, is get out of your own way. Now I know that's really annoying. I really hate hearing that. Wait, let me just get some more on that, because that is like, okay, yeah, but how? How do you get out of your own way? 1 second. Because as well, once you do that, because it's almost like here, I feel like this is the starting, feels a bit closed and closed off. Then we go to here, we're going through mental conflict because we feel isolated, or we don't feel truly accepted, or we just don't feel fulfilled, mentally and emotionally fulfilled in life. Then because we don't feel fulfilled, we start to get frustrated because we still do have passions and desires and dreams and goals about what we want to experience. Then that passion or that anger, that frustration then turns into passion, and we start to get creative with the Magician. And once we start to get creative, we start to be able to work on things in a way that feels emotionally fulfilling and it feels emotionally rewarding. Even without actually getting a reward, we just feel fulfilled, and we feel like we feel fully sustained and supported by life when we're in this mode. And then we're in this mode for long enough that we suddenly get to become the chariot, where we suddenly start to make a big impact in the world. I'm seeing this as, say, you, and this is all the different connections that you have, that you suddenly have a big influence on a number of people because of this journey that you've gone through. And this is different for all of you. And that just came out instantly. But let's just see, how do you get out of your own way? Okay, I'm just also getting a channeled message. Just one second. Oh, the Empress. I love that. Okay, so we've got a channeled message of listen to the Nightingale. So obviously I know the cryptic, but we go into these in detail, and usually they bring out real insight in the extended. So we'll look at that then. But first of all, how do you get out of your own way? Okay, so what I'm getting here for this one, first of all, is if you start to feel mentally restricted in any way because of whatever happens in 2021, I'm just getting that there's a way that you can focus on what it is that you want to create in a new light so that it becomes liberating. Because I'm hearing that whenever you go into this place of feeling restricted in your life in 2021, what it really is it's the universe and your soul trying to stimulate and trigger you to actually look at your situation in a new light. And the way that you do that is by looking at it objectively and working out, or asking the question, is this really restricting me? If I didn't want it to restrict me, what would I do differently? Why am I not doing the thing that will liberate me? What can I do now to do the thing that will liberate me? So there's like those kind of 4 questions, which I can't say again because it just kind of came out of nowhere. But it's by asking those questions to yourself, but in a nurturing, supportive, loving way. And I'm also with the Empress, I just really feel like it's probably about having this sort of conversation with a friend that really cares about you, or somebody that you're really connected to, or it might even be a therapist. But I'm feeling it's more friend, to be honest. I'm feeling it's way more like a friend. And because particularly Gemini energy, I know that you'll have lots of different friends, and maybe it's about having this conversation with a different people from different friendship groups so that you get different perspectives looking into your situation. And there's something about that will give you liberation, and it will allow you to move forward. Okay, then as well with this one here, so the 5 of Wands and the Knight of Blades. So this was when you get frustrated because of obviously feeling restricted, or things not going in the way that you wanted. I actually feel like this is where you just need to go and do something. And I don't really know why I'm getting this. It's just because Knight of Swords can be a really fastest moving knight. And I just feel like it's about you getting out and moving. Like getting out of the house, getting out of the flat. Just, for some of you that like that, getting out into nature, or going into the gym, or doing yoga. It's really important that you do that. And I'm also getting that after you've had conversations with friends around whatever has felt frustrating or restrictive for you, another way to then make sure that you don't then later get frustrated is to take that energy that you've had with the discussion and then go straight away and go and do some movement, so your body can almost unconsciously process what's been said on a deeper level. And that will actually turn frustration into inspiration and forward movement again. So that's the best way for you to get out of your own way if at any points you feel stuck in 2021. But like I say, so it can be intense depending on how you're looking at it, and restrictive. It's so duality, which is so typical Gemini, right? So this part feels a bit more restrictive, but this part here feels it feels super positive, super liberated, super productive. It feels like lots going on, lots of connections, lots of freedom, and just feeling very content within yourself and your life. So I really can feel that that's a big part of what 2021 is wanting to provide for you. And I do just think, like we said here about, just make sure you don't trip yourself up with booby traps or any self-sabotaging. The self-sabotaging is going to come through this sort of angle like we've discussed here, with the restriction and the frustration, but then obviously we've come to the solutions about what you can do for that, and then this will then take you on into this creative space. But now I just want to get a little bit more about all of that. Also, you know, because we channeled, this is very much like a relationship type of thing as well. So if you're feeling restricted to do with your relationship situation, either you're in one or you're not in one. If you're not in one, communicate this to do with friends, look at it get different perspectives of what you can do, then take direct action off what is the consensus of the best way for you to move forward to do with that. If you're feeling restricted in a relationship, this really is about you having that soft, the Empress, open, honest and nurturing, compassionate conversation with the person that you're in the relationship with, and just be really honest with them. But what my guides are saying is, rather than saying anything about, for example, just metaphorically, you are doing this to me, which is making me feel like this, and you are doing that, which makes me feel like this. It's more like just totally own it yourself and just like, I feel like this, I don't want to feel like this anymore, I feel like this, what can we work through so that, you know, we can open it up in another way. Essentially just make sure that you're owning that restriction and that frustration, and that you're not projecting it onto that other person. Because in order for that other person to be open to you, it is about having more of a conscious communication around that way. And again, you know what, conscious communication came up in Power 2 as well, but in a different kind of format. There's a really great book called Conscious Communication. If I remember, I'll put it in the link. If not, just Google that on Amazon, and it's quite an old book, so you can't get it on Kindle, and I think that's how you realise. And I think it's somebody called Guy, and something has written it. It's a husband and a wife, basically. I think you'll find that really, really useful. And as well, if you do feel particularly frustrated to do with anything about being in a relationship, once again, taking, when you feel really frustrated, going for a walk or removing yourself from the situation, just to get that energy moving in a productive way, rather than moving that energy into an argument, will just be really, really, it will help you gain your power back again as the magician. And then you'll be able to work on a solution, and then you'll be able to take decisive action, and everything will be open again. Because all of these people here, I can see their heart chakra is totally open, because their hands are not protecting their heart chakras in any way whatsoever. When we come here, I mean, everything looks closed off there. Everything looks closed off here. And also here, this person just looks like they're confused. 1 minute one thing, 1 minute the next thing, etc., etc. So, yeah, it's definitely about opening yourself up to consciously communicate in a way that is soft but honest and really mature, because you're owning your feelings, etc., etc. So let's see what else is coming up. For 2021, so we have the Two of Matches, oh, wow, Justice, Power 2 also had Justice, and Page of Vases, which is Page of Cups. So, I do really feel like the scales are going to fall in your favour to do with connections and relationships of all types. I do really feel like any sort of projects that you've been working on or visions that you've had for your future, I think you can relax on those now and not focus on them too much, because I can just feel like there's more of a focus now on focusing on almost yourself and who you are in the world and how you see the world. And I really can feel like, because the scales are like pointing down in this way, I feel like there's more work to be done in the area of relationships in 2021, but there is also more to be received from that as well. And I feel like any sort of entrepreneurial projects, any creative projects that you've had working, you know, they're in good movement, they're in good flow. Like, you don't have to focus on those too much, because everything is going according to plan, is what I'm hearing to do with that. From the universal perspective and your soul perspective, everything's going according to plan. But right now in 2021, there's so much to be gained by really investing more energy and time into relationships. From relationships to yourself, to relationships on a one-to-one level, to relationships in a bigger group. And I'm also hearing as well, if some of you have got a very specific manifestation that you're working on, somehow connecting into more groups and communities that are related to whatever it is that you're working on manifesting will be really productive for you. And I'm actually hearing for a small few of you as well, this is where, if you're not in a partnership, you will meet a partner. And there's something about 2021 that sows the seeds for that. But I'm also really hearing that you need to be going into these situations not like this, and it'll be an energetic thing. You need to really feel into yourself, are you open or not? Because it will be on an energetic level, which is playing out. So instead of being a bit protective in some way, it's totally about being completely open and sort of fully putting yourself out there on stage is the metaphor of what I'm seeing. So as like an example, I'm seeing two actors going for a role. They both really want the main role. One actor turns up like the magician and just completely assertive, and just also in a Gemini way completely interacts with everybody, even the script, even the energy of what's going off, everybody at the interview, even like fellow actors, just completely like integrates their energy into the entire situation, to the point where it becomes a really fulfilling experience. Like we're saying here, when you're really going into whatever you're doing, you'll just enjoy it just for you, whether you get the result you want or not. So one actor goes in like that, another actor goes in like this, still really, really wanting that opportunity, still really, really wanting the lead role, but there's a part of them that on a deeper level is just a little bit, like their little inner child is just a little bit intimidated by the situation, or kind of feels a bit inhibited by the situation. And that is the word, actually, it's inhibited. Just feels a bit inhibited, and that bit of being inhibited becomes a bit like a self-sabotaging action on a weird kind of way, because it then means that this person doesn't interact with everybody, interact with the script, interact with the other actors, interact with the people that are interviewing him in the same kind of vivacious, kind of fully present way. And so obviously you can guess who ends up getting the main role. It's the magician, right? And so that's the sort of energy that you just need to be mindful of. So it's really like throwing yourself into situations almost a bit kind of gung-ho, I'm kind of hearing with this. And also it really is about releasing any inhibitions that you have to do with yourself. That's really important. And then I'm also hearing another little message. Whoop. It's so interesting. The word secret seems to be coming up a little bit for the Gemini. It came up in Gemini message number 2 as well. But this one here says, the secret is on the stair. So don't know what that means, but we will look into that. Anyway, let's pull some more cards. I can really feel as well, and this is so true of Gemini energy, and I do love it, you know, there's so two different sides of Gemini, like different personalities, even different strengths and skills and all of these kind of things. And I keep hearing that it's really important that you get on the right side of yourself in 2021. And I am really hearing that being around certain groups and certain people will really help you get into the right side of yourself. Equally, being around certain people and certain situations will actually almost like lower your vibe, and you will be really affected to that. And I can really feel that by the end of the year, I really feel like so many of you on this pile, you really will have made some new friendship connections. And I do feel, not that you'll have let go of old friendship connections, but they just won't be quite as prominent in your life because of this sort of, because essentially you really are, with this North Node in your sign, and you really are going to be stepping into yourself. You really are going to be stepping into yourself. And you know what, almost regardless of whether you let go of your inhibitions or not, I mean, the universe and life just kind of sees the future and sees that you are in a future where you don't have those inhibitions, and you are in a future where you are very much like the Magician and the Chariot. So you are creating what you want, and that creation is coming out into physical reality, and it's affecting many other people and many other souls in a positive way. And equally, you've got many things that you're juggling. And obviously we know that the Gemini energy is an energy where it can have many different projects going on. And also a way for your success as well is, if it's to do with a relationship, you need to get many different people's perspectives, and also try creating friendships with many different personality types and many different people with different soul paths to you, because there's so much that you'll gain from that diversity. And in the same way, to do with anything to do with jobs or careers, it's definitely about you guys either having one career path but going at it through multiple different avenues, so it's almost like you're bringing in a blend of things but they all support the same pathway. Or it's even that you're having a number of different jobs or projects that don't necessarily complement each other, although on a deeper level you would see the link. So they don't necessarily complement each other, but you have these different strings to your bow. And once again, you get this huge amount of diversity, because you know what, to begin with, I did think, ooh, this feels a little bit heavy. And I do feel on the whole, Gemini's got this little bit of a heaviness for 2021. But then my guides were like, but that's ridiculous, because they can't do, because all of this energy is coming in their direction with the North Node and these eclipses, and also Mercury retrograde in their sign, and Uranus basically, having a good aspect to their sign. My guys are like, there's just so much energy coming their way. So it's just really important that they don't get overwhelmed by it, and that they understand how to work with it and channel it correctly. And to be honest, as soon as they said that to me, I started to feel so much lighter about this reading. So I can feel that there's some real truth in that. And it really is about, when a lot of energy is coming your way, making sure you've got these different diverse groups of people that you can sort of, almost like a social butterfly, flip between. And then in the same way that you have all of these sort of different sort of projects, either that all can support each other, or that are just things that you really enjoy doing, even if they don't support each other. That's a way for you to kind of like keep this energy moving, and for you not to go into an overthinking or a frustration place, or just essentially getting overwhelmed by this energy on the whole. Oh God, I feel so much better that I've heard that. Like, it's so interesting when you channel into the Akashic Records. God, you really just feel the energies. And I can honestly tell you, it started heavy until that concert came in. As soon as that concert came in, it's just completely changed. It's almost like if it was raining and lightning, and then suddenly the rain came with the sun, and then the rainbow came, and then the clouds disappeared, and the rain went, and then the sun was just there. And that's very much how I can see this energy. But it's kind of like you've got so much energy available, you're definitely going to have to be a little bit conscious and sensitive to how you are responding to your immediate environment, is what I'm hearing. And so that means being sensitive for the people that you allow into your immediate environment, like the immediate environment that you live in, the immediate environment that you engage with on a daily basis, and maybe be mindful of, I don't know, different sorts of things that are out there online. You know, are these things that you're daily interacting with, are they inspiring you, or are they overwhelming and draining you in some way? But anyway, then we have this card. Oh, focus. I think Taurus had this actually. Okay, so we'll have a look into that. Let's have another one of these. Whoa. Wow, 2. Okay, so we have strangers and exceptionality. Can't say that word, but anyway, I know what it feels into. And here, one more here. What's this? Oh, that's so perfect, to be honest, with what we were saying. I knew relationships was a big deal for this pile. I am trustful in all my relationships. I love that. And I really do think this is like trusting that you can express whatever it is that you need to express, but it's all about you communicating in a conscious way. Anyway, now let's just have a look, see what this card is. Love is all around you. There is love everywhere all the time. Simple, acknowledge this as truth. So I do really feel if you guys have felt lonely or isolated in some way beyond 2020, because I know we all have on some level with that, but more like on a soul level, I can really, really see that that is changing. And as well, there seems to be loads of different people in your cards as well. I love this, strangers. That reminds me of strangers coming together to collaborate. And this reminds me of you sharing, expressing who you really are, and then other people are seeing the gift that you have and therefore wanting to engage with you in some kind of way. But anyway, we'll go all into these in more detail in the extended reading. We'll channel this crystal, we'll go into what the secret is on the stair is, and listen to the Nightingale is all about. Like I say, secrets came up with pile 2 as well, so there's definitely something going on there. And I know that Neptune is in your 10th house. Neptune can hold secrets and illusions. So I think that's something, not so much to do with you guys with your career or life purpose, but I think it's something about something in the outer world is almost, you've not been able to see it as it is. And in 2021, you're really going to start to see it as it is. And it's also going to be partly then what's going to change you and how you see yourself in the world, which then has that knock-on effect with you in an intimate relationship and you and a group of people. Anyway, we'll go into that in more detail and we'll see what this focus point is all about. And also we'll go in a bit more about trust and relationships, because I feel that's key. And then I don't know what this is, strangers and exceptionality, apart from what I said earlier. So we'll go into that too. But anyway, I hope that was useful for you. I really recommend that book, Conscious Communication. It's just really like, my guide just keeps going. In fact, actually, one second, I'm just going to get it so you can see the picture. Wait a sec. This is the book. I really, really feel, if you feel called to, if you feel drawn to it, I just really feel like there'll probably be so much that you'll get out of this. Like I say, it's quite an old one, so you can't get it on Kindle or anything like that. But you can always pause it so then you can find it if you need, because that really, really keeps coming up and flagging up. But anyway, I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the extended, which you can get from my website, abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave below. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook if you would like to follow me there. And I also have another YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. I actually think it would be useful for you to look at the Gemini archetype, because it brings up this concept about communicating in a certain way that's super Gemini, and I think you might find that useful. But anyway, hopefully see you soon. Bye! So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon.